Hello, everyone. Hope we're having a nice day. So, we are starting a series, and this series is on how to deploy a full stack application to Microsoft Azure. A full stack application. So, when I say full stack, I mean we have a client side, we have a server side, we have a database, we have a web server, and everything coming together um, to form a full stack application. So this is the first part of the series. In this video, I'll just be telling you about what we intend to do and how we are going to go about it. So I have this very wonderful application over here. So this was built, it's about 3 years ago or so, but I didn't really use it for anything. So it's essentially like a market where you can buy and sell courses. So you can see different courses over here. So, someone who is an authenticated user can add courses, add their description, their images, their prices, and you can see these wonderful graphics as the posters are moving. We can also see different categories of courses over here, the ones that are based on cloud infrastructure, project management, security, and things around that. And we also can also limit it to prices. So we can choose that we only want to display courses between a particular price range. And if I should scroll down, we can see more courses. So it's a very simple website, and I think there's PayPal at the back end also where people can make purchases using PayPal for the course. So this is essentially, this is the application that we want to put into the Microsoft Azure, want to deploy into Microsoft Azure. And at the moment, it's running locally in my computer. That's why we have localhost 3000. So it's running on port 3000. And now we want to deploy it on Microsoft Azure. So another thing I'll be showing us is the architecture for what we intend to do. So we are going to be using Nginx as our web server. So if we are putting it on Azure, obviously we need to, so just to be more clear, we are deploying it on an Azure VM. So which means we are obviously going to be having more responsibilities because you can deploy it on Azure without um, considering some more low-level aspect of deploying a full stack app. So you can choose to deploy to an app service, to a web app on Azure. We are still going to have a video on that, but for this video, for this demo, we are deploying on an Azure VM because we want to do more customization to our deployed application. Then on the client side, we actually have the React application working on port 3000. Then on the server side, we have the Node.js, the server side, which is actually Express. Express is our framework that we are using on port 8080. And we are going to be securing this, making use of a tool known as Helmet. So let's just quickly have a quick look about what Helmet really does. Helmet.js. So we can see that Helmet secures, very easy to use, and it secures our application using a couple of these headers. So we have content security policy, cross origin opener policy. All these headers are what Helmet allows you to configure to make your application more secure, and it's really, really easy to use. So this is essentially why we are using Helmet, and some of these security policies, they have their implication for several known attacks. So I know that content security policy can help you from clickjacking attack. It can also help you from from what's it called? From the attack that involved running scripts. That's cross-site scripting attack and so on and so forth. So all these have their implication, as well as CSRF attacks and things around that. So these are worth looking at. We can even see an XSS protection header also that it helps us to configure. So going back to our architecture, that's why we are using these elements. Then we also have our Mongo database. In this architecture, we can see that Mongo is running on port 27,017. But for our application, I will likely make use of Mongo Atlas, which is still similar to this, just that it will be on the cloud version rather than installing it within our Ubuntu server as displayed here. So it will probably be in a separate, either I use the Azure service for MongoDB or I make use of Mongo Atlas. Then all these are going to be managed via a process manager known as PM2. So we are going to be using PM2 for running this entire application. So PM2 is just a tool that ensures that your node application is always running. So people always ask that, how does using PM2 differs from making use of a load balancer? So for a load balancer that ensures that routes traffic to a completely different server running the same application, our PM2, what it really does is that it makes use of clusters and it segregates our application into different clusters. Then it now uses the available CPU in our server it assigns them to the different clusters. So if when I was provisioning the Ubuntu server, I went for a server that has about 3 CPU, or let's say dual core, 2 CPU, or let's say 4 CPU, then by using PM2, it's going to divide our node application into 4 clusters. Then each of those CPU will be assigned to each of those clusters, to the corresponding clusters. And you might want to ask, what's the usefulness of this? It's for performance. So it makes our application run better. So it's for performance and it makes it more seamless. And also, in terms of our decision to use Nginx as our web server as opposed to maybe Apache, is because we are making use of static files from the React, and we know that Nginx works great with static files for React applications, and that's why we are using that. So in this first video, I just wanted to lay some foundation on what we are going to be doing. In our subsequent videos, I will be showing us to be purely practical based, and I wouldn't be talking so much. So I hope this is clear.